On November 1st, 2024, we've got a super intense new moon in Scorpio. This happens at 8:47 a.m. Eastern US time. Calculate that for your own time zone. Just a heads up, this one is likely to be more transformative than usual. It kind of culminates energies that have been brewing for all of October, especially since Pluto stationed direct on October 11th, but then really kind of sets the stage for a bunch of energy to pop off for the rest of November. So we're looking at an intense week following this new moon. But I want to kind of cover a lot of the different layers because Scorpio is a sign where what you see is not necessarily what you get, right? It's a sign of the hidden realm, the dark, the mystical, but also shadow work, the things that we don't really want to have to look at, but they're important, right? So the Sabian symbol for this one is Scorpio 10 degrees. We always round up for Sabian symbols. And this one is a fellowship supper reunites old comrades. So on the surface, that sounds kind of nice. It's like, oh yeah, old friends getting together, right? However, in context of everything else going on with this new moon, it reminds me more of the beginning of Lord of the Rings, right? So they have the big birthday celebration for Bilbo Baggins, and it's Frodo's 33rd birthday kind of coming of age party. And there's this kind of changing of the guard, kind of this end of an era, and Bilbo's sort of retiring from life and not holding on to the ring anymore. And then Frodo takes it, and it's like the beginning of this very deep, dark journey. Kind of the energy that we might see in November of 2024. Because leading up to the November 1st new moon in Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio will be opposing Uranus in Taurus, and that still is going to be in effect at the time of this new moon. We get this kind of shocking information, shocking things that cause big transformation. Could be in the financial markets because the Scorpio-Taurus axis is the financial axis, but it could also be and things to do with health, things to do with the body, that's Taurus, but then also in Scorpio, like what hidden things, what undercurrents of information did we not have before that are suddenly coming out that change the way that we think of things. So that's kind of background energy leading up to the new moon, but also in place at the time of the new moon in Scorpio. We do get a nice trine from Saturn in Pisces. Saturn's at 12 degrees of Pisces. And so we get some supportive energy, some water energy, flow, but Saturn in Pisces often is kind of dealing with structures, the old guard, the traditional authorities, and in Pisces that's kind of wearing away, sort of like erosion. And then we get Mercury in Scorpio, the deep researcher, the deep exposer of hidden things. So that's happening at the same time that Mercury will be sextile Pluto in Capricorn. So of course Pluto rules Scorpio, and so we've got this energy here of hidden things that are coming up, especially related to information and top-down authorities. That could be government, but that could also be in religion, that could be corporations. Really anybody that has been kind of on a pinnacle, sort of the quote-unquote experts. We may find that things get shaken up with that at the time of this new moon. Now, one of the cool things that actually has a lot of potential to be really positive is a grand trine in water with Mars in Cancer, Neptune in Pisces, and Mercury in Scorpio. That's all in the late water signs. So if you've got anything in late Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, you're likely to feel this more than most people. And that is kind of a blending. I mean, on a spiritual level, it could be that all of a sudden you feel this influx of powerful energy, powerful spiritual energy and inspiration. That's more that Neptune and Pisces. But then with Mars and Cancer, it hits you on an emotional level and really gives you the courage, the empowerment to protect the family. And family may not just be your immediate family. Family could extend to, the children of the world, or it could deal with kind of our human family, or even national boundaries. Sometimes Cancer deals with the country or the homeland. And then again, with that Mercury in Scorpio, digging up the information, digging up the hidden information, but that could be secrets that empower your magic, that help you to be more clear on what kind of focus do you need in order to move forward. We've been having an awful lot of tension with Mars lately. We've had 3 cardinal grand crosses involving Mars at the time of lunar events, 3 in a row. This time we get this nice water trine, and so that energy on the collective level could play out that more people are rising up and being kind of that mama bear energy to protect the children. But it could come out as personal empowerment, and just that a whole bunch of things start coming together so that you're able to go with the flow in a way that maybe dodges the big boulders. It's a good time to really just kind of try to move with the energies, be very present to what's happening around you. Now, there is a super intense part of this that I haven't mentioned yet, and that is that Mars will be in the final anaretic degree of Cancer. The anaretic degree is that last degree between 29 degrees to 30 degrees of any sign. It's also known as the crisis degree. And both Pluto and Mars are in crisis degrees opposite each other. So Mars is the personal will, kind of the personal empowerment, the individual. And with Mars and Cancer, it's the individual emotions, the individual nation, the individual feelings, the individual family. So not in my backyard kind of energy. But then with Pluto in that final degree of Capricorn, we've got the extra authority, the extra top-down authority, but it's the corruption that is often going to be exposed. So I wanted to look at the Sabian symbols of that, because that opposition is really going to be coloring this time. Mars enters Leo on November 3rd, but remember that Mars very often acts early, and so we're likely to really feel this exact opposition on November 1st at the time of the Scorpio New Moon, even more than we're going to feel it on November 3rd. So what we have for the Sabian symbol for Mars, Cancer 30 degrees, a daughter of the American Revolution. And then the Sabian symbol for the Pluto degree in Capricorn should sound familiar because I've been mentioning this one quite a bit this year. And that is Capricorn 30, a secret meeting of men responsible for executive decisions in world affairs. If that sounds familiar, it's because Pluto, when it re-entered Capricorn, is just staying in that degree. And so this has been in effect really since September 1st in a mega way. But we also had our second full moon in Capricorn at that same degree on July 21st. And if you think back to then, that was when Biden was kind of pushed out. There was sort of a secret meeting, right? This executive decision to have him retire from the presidential race. So that was something that occurred when we had a recent event that took place at 29 degrees of Capricorn. And so this Mars opposition to Pluto, both of them in that final degree of Cancer Capricorn, we've got that tension, and it's really a tension of, according to the Sabian symbols, a daughter of the American Revolution versus the secret meeting of men responsible for executive decisions in world affairs. So kind of like the corporatocracy, the hidden hand, the hidden controllers versus this like American revolutionary energy. And, this is happening a few days before the US election is scheduled on November 5th. There's a lot of debate on whether we're going to even have an election this year or, is there going to be some sort of mishap or delay or something. In any case, it's likely to be contested. I am recording this on October 22nd. And so if there have been October surprises that I'm not mentioning in this video, that's why, because I'm recording it early. But this is really I think the key energy that we're going to be noticing on the collective level at the time of this new moon in Scorpio. But I'm mentioning the other gentler, flowier, watery energies because it's going to be easy to get swept away in whatever narratives are coming to the surface. They are likely to be kind of shocking, again, because of that Mercury opposite Uranus energy and with the sextile to Pluto and that opposition there with Mars and Pluto. But there is this potential for real emotional healing. Neptune in late Pisces, it can kind of bring the cleansing tears of grief. And again, going back to the Sabian symbol of this new moon in Scorpio, a fellowship supper reunites old comrades. And so although we're in these kind of very divisive times, there is this potential here for reunion, for reuniting with people that maybe you've been at odds with, or where it's felt like there's been kind of irreconcilable differences, something like that. Perhaps, this is a potential of this Scorpio new moon. Perhaps that energy comes up and really transforms things. So that is something to keep in mind. The other kind of wild card is that asteroid Cassandra is also in that 29th degree of Capricorn, so right where Pluto is and then opposite Mars. Cassandra in Greek mythology was given the gift of prophecy from Apollo, but that came with some strings attached. She was kind of expected to become his sexual consort, and when she said, no thank you, I don't want that, Apollo basically cursed her so that even though her prophecies would be true, nobody would believe what she said. And so Cassandra was at that same point on the July 21st full moon in Capricorn that was also there. So we may see information that comes up again, kind of like quote unquote conspiracy theories that came to the surface around July 21st, or topics even within your own life, like things that you maybe were getting through dreams or getting through some other mechanism that didn't seem quite so rational or didn't seem quite something that you could prove, or that collective consensus reality was going to welcome that information. We may find that this comes more to the surface at the time of this new moon, and perhaps having that validated brings some of the healing and reconciliation that is sort of brewing beneath the surface for this Scorpio new moon. So it's an intense time for sure, but also some bright spots there. And if you can move with the energies, if you can kind of recognize that our reality is really kind of disintegrating before our very eyes, and remember that Scorpio is a sign of alchemy. It's a sign of absolute transformation, the phoenix birthing itself from its own funeral pyre. So things can look dark, things can look ugly, and, deep, dark shadow, things that, no, I don't want to see. But looking at this time and doing that emotional inner work and having the power within you to say, no, I'm not doing these things anymore. oh, we need to change, or I need to shift how I was thinking of the world, or in light of this new information, I need to readjust my worldview, or I need to reassess my relationships with other people. This could be a time where there is a lot of impact and a lot of healing. So Timothy Glenn and I will be making another video because on November 19th, we get Pluto entering Aquarius for the long haul. So that point between Capricorn and Aquarius has been crisscrossed by Pluto. This will be the 5th time, and really the final time, certainly in our lifetimes and for, hundreds of years. So it's a big deal. There's a lot of things leading up to that, but this new moon really sets the stage for a lot of pop, 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 very thin veils and lots of transformation, lots of events that are likely to topple the old order in some way, but could be deeply healing. So I wish you all the very best. Peace.